morning and welcome everyone to Astitu Prakashan podcast. Today we have MAS Vishnu sir, a qualified engineer, an ex-defense officer, life skill trainer, motivational speaker, and three-time published author. Today we are going to discuss about his book COVID-19 and Humanity: A Introspection. So, sir, my first question is, what inspired you to write this book?
Yes, more than inspired, I would probably use the word compelled. What compelled me to write this book because the experience that I faced while being in the hospital, recovering or getting treated for COVID-19, that was the time when I saw one young girl struggling for almost about 4 days with all life support equipments on her, and
Yes.
finally she gave up, and then passed away, and she was just wrapped up in a plastic bag and taken away. That's something, it really struck me very bad, in the sense that what did that young girl do to deserve such a death? So that's
Yes.
where I did some retrospection of how humanity has been doing, and how COVID has really gobbled up so many lives, and then why humanity has gone into this. So it started hitting my mind during that time, and then I decided, okay, I got to do something about it. So the least I could do was write a book. So that's how this book, COVID-19 and Humanity: A Retro Introspection. That's the reason what why I wrote that book.
Yes, sir. That's,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And sir, can you give me a brief about your personal journey with COVID-19, how it affected you?
My personal journey with COVID-19 started, I will tell you, when everyone in our family, we were infected with the 19. So for the three of us, myself and my two children, we were detected positive, and subsequently my wife lost the sense of taste and smell. So obviously she also got infected, and four of us were there. The first 3 days were okay, same symptoms, everything, and then it started subsiding for all of us. But then, unfortunately for me, on the sixth day, it again picked up, and it picked up to an extent where all the parameters were showing quite serious, and I had to be admitted on the seventh day. And the seventh day onwards, for about 13 days, I was in the ICU. So it was a very traumatic experience, an experience I'll never forget in life. Obviously, there's a very thin line between life and death, which I
Yes.
struggled with. So that was the journey in short. I recovered, of course, somehow, by
Yes.
God's grace and by the wishes and all my friends, relatives, colleagues, everyone. I'm
Yes.
here, right?
Yes. So, as I have known that you had a near-death experience with COVID-19, so I want to know how it changed your perspective towards life and everything.
More than it changing my perspective about life, it did make me think about death also, because
Yes.
the out of those 13 days, there were three very, 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 crucial days where I was almost staring at death. I almost knocked at the door of death, which I call. And
Yes.
well, for some reason, it didn't open. And that experience, that thin line between death and life, is something, I think not very many people experience it. You're either this side of the fence or you're that side of the fence. Someone who has been either, you never know, one leg here, one leg there. Okay.
Yes.
So that was something, it made me really think about life, how important it is for all of us, how, we take life so easy. And it's very difficult to explain how that feeling is. But it definitely changed the perspective of life for me after that. And I just felt like doing something good about my life. That's again why is COVID-19 and humanity is all about.
Yes.
Yes.
And sir, in your book, the part two version, you mentioned Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So I want to know the concept and implementation of this term in today's world. What do you think?
Oh, yes. That's very favorite. That's very close to my heart. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a small phrase from one of the scriptures of Sanatan Dharma. Actually, the entire line is Udara Charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Udara
Yes,
Charitanam basically means for the broad-minded, the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means world is one family. And
yes,
in fact, these two lines are there in this, which generally states as I am Nijaha Paro Veti Gananam Lagu Chetasam. That means this is mine, that is yours. Such talks, such things are uttered only by narrow minded people. Lagu Chetasam. Udara Charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means for the broad minded, they don't say this is mine, that is yours, and those kind of things. They feel this whole universe, this entire world is one family, and we should live with like a family. That's what the crux of the meaning Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is, and how it got into my in my childhood somewhere. Probably from my father only I heard this term. Didn't make much sense that time, but then the second time I heard was in 2014 when our Prime Minister Modi ji spoke in United Nations. So that was the first time I said, wow, that's a very powerful statement he has made at the right platform. Right platform
yes,
means United Nations. So after that, it struck. Then I felt okay. I should somehow see how it can fit in. So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is something we this world at this juncture probably at the right time we have to realize this particular thing that the entire world is one family and we should live like one for a peaceful coexistence. That's very important.
yes,
So that's the context to this particular world that we are living in now.
and that's true, sir. And what's your opinion about this term in UN adaptation?
Come again? I didn't get you.
Sir Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, what is
Yeah.
the UN adaptation?
UN, United Nations Adaptation. Yes, yes. My whole effort in the part two of this book is that the United Nations should be an epitome of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is a philosophy, it's a way of life, it's a kind of a
Yes,
doctrine. We should all live like that. It should be inbuilt in us. We should never see another human being as someone separate from us, within us. They are part of us. That's very important. And United Nations is an nations of all combined together, 193 countries together and two non-members. So the entire world is united over there. So that should be a physical manifestation. United Nations should function as a physical manifestation of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That's the context. I want the United Nations, or in fact, every one of us should see United Nations in that context. So, United Nations basically should represent this particular way of life called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And
yes,
then probably there can be less, issues in the world, less problems in the world, hopefully.
yes.
Yes.
And sir, regarding the human behavior that you have mentioned in the, I want to know what was the most shocking thing that you have experienced during COVID-19 for in the human behavior.
Oh, human beings. Why during COVID-19? The entire COVID-19 has happened because of human beings. We human
Yes,
beings are given a very, very powerful tool, and that powerful tool is making a choice, making a right choice, making a powerful choice, a choice that is beneficial for not only to the human beings, but for the entire ecosystem, everything, living, non-living thing. But then time and again, we, as humans, finally we land up doing something um, so much wrong that it really affects the entire world. You just imagine someone somewhere in some corner of the world does some mischief, some mistake. We really do not know even now what has exactly happened. And the entire world, the entire humanity suffers about it. So this is something which we really need to retrospect as well as introspect both. So the most shocking is the COVID-19 itself. It's a big human flaw. Somewhere it has happened. So far as
yes,
personally, is my own human, experience is whatever I have seen in the ICU when I was lying down. I just take a nap. You can't hardly sleep in the ICU because of numerous instruments flashing and the lights always on. So whenever I used to have a small nap and open up, the person beside my bed had vanished. So God knows where he had gone. I never had the guts to ask anyone, not even a nurse. Okay, where is this person gone? It's not. It's even not an easy thing to during that time. So those were definitely traumatic experiences of seeing human nature. Human nature and behavior is what has made us, suffer this experience called COVID-19.
Yes.
Yep.
And sir, like you mentioned, the young girl in the ICU, how it affected you. So I want to know how it impacted the whole story that you have written on COVID-19.
You mean how the ICU has impacted?
The girl, the little girl.
That girl, that teenage girl. Oh, that really shook the hell out of me because the moment when I was brought into the ICU in a stretcher, I was just looking around the ICU, a huge room, with in all corners in cubicles there were patients lying down, and somehow this girl attracted because very fragile looking girl, teenage only, but all connected with all kinds of support equipment, and she was just lying lifelessly looking like this at me. At me means I felt it was me. I was somewhere in the corner. I was placed at the corner of the room, and every now and then, whenever I looked, it appeared she was looking, without any
Right.
expressions, blankly towards me for 4 days. And the fourth day, her parents came. They kept, shouting, "Akka, Akka" means sister. I mean, the brother came and started shouting, "Akka, Akka, come home, come home." The parents came, they started calling her by name, "Please come home." They were crying. They couldn't even go near the bed. Can you imagine what kind of a life we lived during COVID
Yes.
19? And then they asked the family to go away, and they took out all the life equipment, support equipment, because she had given up, and then brought a plastic bag and zipped her into that. My nurse, she came towards me and she said, "No, that was a shocking thing to hear that, okay,
Yes.
someone is gone just like that." And then they just came, someone just came and lifted the plastic bag and went away. It was just a life expiry, like a life expiry item. So
Yes,
that
sir.
was a very traumatic thing to see. We should never, everyone have heard it, seen it, or, but seeing is believing, and something that traumatic thing is no one should experience in life. You can't even touch your beloved ones when they are passing away. I mean, this is something human should remember forever.
That was
Yeah,
definitely a traumatic experience for you.
yeah. Very
Yes.
much, very much, very much.
So,
Yes.
during the COVID-19 time, Narendra Modi was giving some speech and regarding the COVID-19. I want to know how it affected you and the story.
Who? I didn't get you. Come again.
Narendra Modi, sir.
Yes, Narendra Modi
Narendra
sir. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, his speech was, which I had already mentioned. It was in United Nations. That was 2014. So while writing this book, my aim was to write the book only about the experience of COVID-19, what all we have faced, and what the whole world faced. That's the reason, if you see in the book on the part one, I have given for all small photos. In fact, I am also there in that. Photo lying in the hospital bed. So I have just given an glimpse of what the world has seen during that time. So that was my initial attempt at writing the book. But then later on, I said, what is the point in just writing a book? So I need to write that why it has happened and do some introspection. So that is when I recollected this particular philosophy called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which our Prime Minister had uttered, mentioned in his lecture in 2014. And from there, I felt well. And It was not just speaking about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. If you remember during COVID-19, India was the only country in the entire world who have distributed free of cost vaccine to at least 93 countries. Can you believe it? 93
Yes.
countries we have distributed. And it was called as Vaccine Maitri in the external affairs terminology. I mean, you cannot imagine where people were fighting their own battle. Our prime minister, or rather our government, made sure that there was sufficient quantity for the people of India, and then produced more for the world also. And you will be
Yes.
surprised to know that about 1 million or so have been given free of cost to many of the countries who could not afford it, just to keep them safe. So, if this is not a true way of bringing, words into spirit and then putting it to action, what else can be, what else can
Yes.
be? Where we have lived that particular notion of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and made sure that so many people benefited by our production of vaccines. So that's a wonderful thing India has uh, shown to the world what Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is all about. Yes.
And sir, your book, I want to know how it helps the reader with the trauma of the COVID-19 and
Helps whom you said?
how this book helps the reader in dealing with the COVID-19 trauma and their experience.
Okay, the reader. First of all, anyone who reads it will relive COVID-19. That much is sure because whoever have gone through this, they have felt that I have placed them back into that duration of COVID-19. That was the purpose also. We all have, in fact, the first 18 or 19 chapters of the book, almost everyone,
Yes.
I am sure, will relate their lives during the COVID-19 experience of, during that period. Everyone, because every one of us, without any exception, every single person in the world has experienced it in some way or the other, whether they were infected or not. Someone known, someone, well, so every reader will get back to that and will retrospect definitely why it has happened, and it will also help them to introspect about humanity. What is that thing that we have missed out, which is making us making these kind of mistakes? We are still doing. May not be COVID-19, but many other ways we are doing where we are damaging our own cells. Humanity is cutting off the branch in which it is sitting, not realizing that it will also fall along with the branch, and it is
Yes.
doing alarmingly true. So we need to wake up. So I hope that every reader will wake up uh, after reading this book and will know that there is some message in that. Yes.
Definitely. And sir, you have so many different experiences, like you are an engineer, defense, and in training and writing. So, how it shapes your view in humanity and leadership?
Ah, that's an interesting question. Yes, I'm an engineer first, then an defense officer. I'm an ex-Air Force officer. Uh, I retired as wing commander. And then, yes, I there's one more thing which is missing is we are into music also. We give programs, singing and all. And then I took up skills training, life skills training, particularly in colleges and young professionals. And then, of course, taken up the profession of writing. It definitely develops um, anyone. In fact, anything you take up, anything as a passion or a profession you take up, will shape up your lot of qualities. Of course, my leadership qualities and my, getting along and seeing the world was fulfilled by being an engineer and a defense officer. And by trying to shape up youngsters in their very young ages by being a life skills trainer, it really helped me to see the minds of the youngsters today, how they place morality, ethics, in a nutshell, if we call it as dharma, where they place dharma in their lives, ethics in their lives, how much importance they give. It really helped me see all that in youngsters. And then, yes, so far as I became quite humane, seeing things in a very gentle and soft manner because of my writing, taking up writing, and of course my interest in music and all. That keeps me level to the ground as a human and gives uh, that feeling able to empathize about others. Yes, it helps. It helps.
And sir, uh, sorry. So I want to know what lesson the reader should get from the pandemic after reading your book.
Yes, like I kind of mentioned, they should never forget COVID-19. No one should ever forget COVID-19 in this world. We can move on, all right. We can move on to doing things. We should not live traumatized, but we should never forget also, because we should realize that this is not created by anyone. This is created by humans. We should also know. I want readers to take in that human beings are uh, I mean, we think that we are very powerful beings in this ecosystem. We are the most powerful beings in this ecosystem, but we become powerful only when we use that greatest ability that humans have, that ability to make a choice, that ability to differentiate between what is right, wrong, what is powerful, what is not powerful, what benefits not only you but everyone in the world, in the ecosystem for that matter. So every step that we take, every action that we do, every thought that we do has to have some meaning, some logic, some. So the choice you make for these things should be uh, such that it makes a powerful impact to the entire world. So I want the people to take that particular aspect from this book, and how I have given some tips in that. In the second portion itself, when you see, when I depicted the tree there, I don't know how clear it is. I don't know. It is, I think, not very clear. So I have explained basic needs, what they are, and where we have to place the righteous way of living in the world, and what Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is all about. So I definitely want the readers to take this, and hopefully at least of 20% of people will get affected, and that would be a very good output. Yes.
Sir, I have one more question. What role does the introspection plays in healing both individually and collectively as a society?
Introspection uh, is something we should understand what exactly. And when we talk about introspection, basically we are doing an research within ourselves. You know, that's what
Yes.
introspection is all about. When you're looking within yourself, where you are, where you have gone wrong, where you have gone right, anything and everything. We need, every one of us need to do that, so that we see um ourselves, every step that we make, in a manner that is beneficial, that is good for the society. So when we introspect, only we will be able to do it. And that is how introspection should work. So when I introspect about myself, I will know my flaws. I will know where I have gone wrong. I know what wrongs I have done, and what I should not be doing. And those kind of things when we do. So this is introspection. So everyone should introspect about themselves, about their lives. That obviously will help them in molding or shaping themselves into a better human beings for the society. And everyone does nothing like it. If we have a pure conscience, the entire society have a pure conscience. What else do you want? That's the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sir, what will be the next project from you? Another travel or something new journey, new passion, or a new book?
Yeah, all put together. I'm passionate about doing more passionate. Like recently, I was just discussing with my children. Yeah, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. So the content is ready, but the time is probably not. I don't know when. So that's a new thing I'm planning. And travel, of course, I love. Writing, of course, I want to carry on. So all put together, let me see if something new emerges. I hope, first of all, I would want to see this book doing okay. uh, on the stands, and then or I'll start thinking on doing. But definitely, I've got a long way to go, so I'll do something that would be good. Yeah.
But there will be a new adventure, right, sir?
Yes, come again. I didn't. Your voice was blank.
I said, but there will be a new adventure, right, sir?
Yes, there will be a new adventure. Adventure. We should never forego any adventure. We should never forego a new idea. We should never forego a new passion. Everything should keep on doing till the end. Yes, there is something probably.
So it was a great honor to interview you for your book, sir. I really hope that a new book will be in this in the journey. And thank you, sir, for giving me a chance to interview.
Thank you very much for asking good, nice questions. Particularly, those would. I hope the answers would ring some bell and inspire people to buy this book and glance through them. And maybe I hope a few people do benefit out of it. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to talk about my book. Yes.